Welcome to the second installment of my series, Practicing Strategy E Modes. This one will be E Dorian guitar tutorial. So you'll have a PDF that'll accompany this. So E Dorian, the parent scale is the key of D major. So at the end of the PDF is some notes, practicing strategy, E modes, different notes. So what I'd like to do is address some of these points, not necessarily in any particular order. I don't want things to be totally structured for every single thing, but I do want to hit some of the different points that are in this particular series that I'm doing. Okay, so today for this one, I'm just going to start off with the typical caged positions. So just to save time, I'll say the note names ascending but not descending. So I'll start off with this open position: E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G. Backwards. So that's kind of like around an E minor chord, and then I'm going to be talking about throughout this series the Frank Gambale idea that the different modes can be shown or kind of spelled out and sounded out with the 4 and 5 chords of whatever the parent scale is. So in this example, in the key of D, the 4 and 5 chords is a G and an A. So a very typical kind of thing that you'll hear in Dorian. Or here. Right, so that would kind of be the emphasis of this video, using that 4 and 5 chord and all the different scale patterns. I'll also talk about, this is kind of there's an interesting 3-note per string scale. So there's a particular system where you can double that note there. So you have E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G. Backwards. Also talk about in my notes about occasionally hitting this low E, since we're thinking E modes and we're thinking E Dorian. So even though we're playing from the parent scale of D major, so we're hearing that as kind of a minor, E minor, yeah, and specifically Dorian. So that was a 3-note per string scale. Let's go to the next position. F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A. Backwards. And you can throw in that low E there. Okay, so there you have G triad, A triad, G triad, A triad. So that's kind of what I've been encouraging you to do is take some of these raw materials that I'll be presenting and just kind of make up vamps. So there's, G chord, A triad over E pedal, G triad, A pedal, and then you can use a looper or a record a track for yourself, and then you can jam over. You can jam with another guitar player or a bass player or whatever. All right, so let's go on to starting from A here. A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B. Backwards. So for the most part, I'm going to be thinking of this as Dorian. You could also kind of think of this as kind of Mixolydian, the A. Right, so you can kind of think of that also. So then let me just do a little tangent here. So there's also these kind of convenient one octave patterns. So based off around the G chord, you have G A, B C sharp D, E F sharp G. So that's kind of around that G triad. And then around the A, B, C sharp D, E, F sharp G, A, F sharp G, A. All right, so that would be an interesting way maybe of maybe playing over a static vamp, you know, kind of throwing in some of those different scale patterns, not necessarily low, but maybe in different places. That's all right. So I'll just take those and move up. So this is down on the page where I'm talking about you know, these one octave patterns. So once again, I'm going to be hitting the different points in this PDF and in these notes, but I don't necessarily want to do everything in any particular order. I want to just kind of let it kind of flow as it will. So how about let's look at those patterns. Actually, let's look at them here. So you have the G, you have this kind of E minor over the G, E, and then E over A. Okay, so then so here's like a convenient pattern: G A, B C sharp D, E F sharp G. Okay, then for your A chord, then you have the same thing: A B, C sharp D E, F sharp G A. So on. So you can have a lot of fun with that. So so I mentioned Gambale. You know, he talks about using the 4 and 5 chord from the parent key to kind of give the sound of the mode. And then another book that I refer to a lot in my tutorials is The Advancing Guitarist, Mick Goodrick, and he talks about, you know, playing off of an E pedal or an A pedal and playing all the different modes of E. So that's kind of what I'm doing here with this series. Okay, I think that's good enough for the. Let me just do this up here also. So you have these kind of typical. So this is your G triad and your A triad. So kind of around the blues box, and then I'll go ahead and use those one octave patterns: G A, B C sharp D, E F sharp G. Then for the A chord, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A. Right. So you could, so depending on your musical context, you could call that G-Lydian. And then you can call this maybe Mixolydian, A Mixolydian. And that would be valid also, but in this particular example, in context of these tutorials, I'm thinking of this as kind of all over an E. So I'm bringing in some notes from Pentatonic, which I'll get to a little bit later. So you have E minor pentatonic here. So sort of around that G chord, and then A major pentatonic. All right, so that's kind of like another sort of convenient around those triads. A lot of different things you can do there. Okay, so let's go back to the cage positions or classic positions. So now we're back to so I'm thinking E Dorian or the parent key of D major. So starting from B, B C sharp D, E F sharp G, A B, C sharp D E, F sharp G A, B C sharp D, backwards. And I also talk about in my notes, occasionally throwing in this low E pedal, so you kind of hear that. There's a nice kind of convenient pattern right there. It's sort of E to E. Kind of based around kind of the power chord. And then you also have your pentatonic there, E minor pentatonic, which I'll also address in this video. I think that's good for that. So let's go on to the next pattern. C sharp D E, F sharp G A, B C sharp D, E F sharp G, A B, C sharp D E, backwards. And I'm going to do a little tangent here. I recently saw a lesson. There was this, I guess there's a couple guys, but there's one in particular who took lessons with Ted Green, and he has a bunch of lessons that he just has the camera just pointing at Ted Green, and there's some pretty amazing lessons, and Ted's just sitting there, teaching. So the lesson was out of D Dorian. I think they were doing Besame Mucho, Besame Mucho. And then, Ted was kind of showing this guy some D Dorian ideas. So I'm just going to go ahead and do kind of an approximation of what he was showing this guy based on E Dorian. So one of the concepts he talked about was, I think he called them stacked thirds. I sometimes will call it scale of thirds. So scale of thirds here would be E, G, B, D, F sharp, A, C sharp, E. And then you can also throw in that low C sharp if you wanted to. So he talked about that a little bit. He referenced Wes Montgomery using the sixth in the middle strings. Okay, so then he was encouraging this student in this lesson to do these arpeggios over the E minor or E minor 9. And then he was also saying, we'll get up into that 9 and up into the 11. So I think the lick he was doing was something like, and then he was sliding into this F sharp. So up the arpeggio, E, G, B, D, and F sharp, and then he's sliding. D, B, D. So it's something like... So then the other thing Ted was talking about was not always starting on the downbeat. So try starting on a different note other than downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So that was kind of his first lick. Then the second lick he was doing, he was going up to the 11, and he was doing basically the same concept. So, and then he was talking about these upper triads. So that's a D triad, and then he did sort of the same thing here. He didn't do exactly that lick. He did something a little. He did a little variation on the second part, but I'll just do the same thing on both chords. So E, G, B, D, F sharp, and then slide A, and then do the same thing that you did before, sliding to F sharp. So something like that. And he was referencing Wes Montgomery. He said that Wes liked to do this kind of idea. I don't know the exact recording. I'm not an expert in Wes Montgomery's playing, although I've listened to it a lot. I don't know exactly what he's referring to. So I'll just do a little riff off of this E minor 9 chord, and I'll kind of play around with that idea from the Ted Green lesson. I think it's called Ted Green Teaches Solo single note soloing. This is a little tangent there. Let's see. Okay, let's go on to the this one here, starting from E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, backwards. So I did a little bit out of a blues scale there. Obviously the Dorian at a 12th, and then I also threw in the G triad here. So you have G triad, G triad, G triad, A triad. And this is kind of what in the Gambale lesson. I think Gambale has an interview with Rick Beato, and I think he talks about how he teaches modes to his students, and he talks about this idea of using 4 and 5 from the parent key. So you have G, A, G, A, G, A, G, A, G, A. And then I talked a little bit about the pentatonic here, which I'll get back to. Maybe that'll be my next point. Let's just talk briefly about 3-note per string scale. So here's a very convenient pattern. I would call this a symmetrical. Let me do these 2 symmetrical patterns here. So by symmetrical, I mean that every 2 strings is the same fingering pattern. So C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp. All right, this is kind of one of my favorite licks. I think Goodrick talks about this pattern. And he talks about different scale fingerings up and down a string, caged, and he talks about these 3-note per string scales, and he says, well, this is a good way to play triplets. So that's kind of one good usage for that. Okay, and then we do the let me do my speed lick here. So this is so just taking down, up, down, up, down, up. So it kind of works out even. The picking works out even. Yeah, and then if you didn't like cutting off that low E, you can maybe just go kind of ending it right there. Okay. Let's go on to I'll do one more 3-note per string scale. How about D E F sharp, G A B, C sharp D E, F sharp G A, B C sharp D, E F sharp G, backwards. Satriani, when you hear his playing, you kind of hear stuff like that with him, where he's like kind of in a scale pattern. Where you're kind of, doing one pick. All right, so I think the thing I'll do next, I'll go ahead and spell out all those, the 2, 3, 6 minor pentatonics, and talk about how they're the same as 4, 5, 1 major pentatonic, and then also show those two, what I'm calling that the blues box extension pattern. I think I got that from a book I read, an instructional book years ago. I think it was called Improvising Rock Guitar, and I think they called it the blues box extension pattern, and they said this was a pattern that Jimi Hendrix would use. Okay, so let's go E minor pentatonic. I'll go from lowest, E G, A B, D E, G A, B D, E G. Okay, so let me just spell out each of the boxes here. So then your 3-chord F sharp minor pentatonic. So E minor pentatonic is also G major pentatonic. F sharp minor pentatonic is also A major pentatonic. Right, that's kind of a nice voicing there. It's a little hard to grab, but that is kind of an interesting alternative when you're playing a major chord. So then look what happens. So you have all these kind of interesting notes there. Sus4, 2 or 9, and it's kind of interesting. It's kind of a B minor chord. Kind of an interesting way of embellishing, basic chords. There's D chord. That's Sus4. I guess you can also do it there also. All right, so let me do, so that's F sharp is also A, and then B minor is also D. So B, D, E, F sharp, A, B, D, E, F sharp, A, B, D. So notice I threw in the low E bass. So you can kind of think of this as almost like some kind of like E minor 9 sus. So I'm playing B minor pentatonic, but I'm thinking of it over the E minor. So you can, I guess you can almost think of this as a kind of Dorian. So if I had like an E minor chord, E minor 9. So I did a little scat singing there. Okay, so that's good there. So I think what I'll do next is I'll go ahead and do the relative minor and relative major. So I'll just start here on this B minor. So B minor. So the extension pattern would start from here: A B, D E F sharp, A B, D E F sharp, A B, D, E, F sharp, backwards. So when you're working through this material, you wouldn't have to be quite so strict and think that everything always has to go back to this E Dorian concept. I'm just happen to be focusing on this for this series, but certainly this pattern I just did here, obviously B minor pentatonic, and then it's also D major pentatonic. Then let's do the extension pattern starting from here. So if this is from D, D, E, F sharp, A, B, D, E, F sharp, A, B. This goes off the diagram a little bit. D, E, F sharp, A, B, backwards. All right, and then I also have up here D, E, F sharp, A, B, D, E, F sharp, A, B. Now go nicely with a D chord. Okay, so you have B minor, D major. Let's go to the 2 chord next, the E minor, G major. So starting from here, G A B, D E, G A B, D E, G A B, D E. All right, so that's a pretty common one. Okay, so the one starting for E, rather than starting it down here because I'm kind of running out of frets, I'll just start it here. So D E, G A B, D E, G A B, D E, G A B, and that goes off the diagram a little bit. Okay, and then obviously there's these blues notes here. So between, so that's the flatted 5th of E. So that's kind of an interesting point. I've talked about this in my various tutorials, how if you're playing, say, E minor, that blues note is the flatted 5th. If you're playing major, that same note is the flatted 3rd. Kind of an interesting thing. So I guess that's like what Pat Martino said. It's not how many chords you know; it's how many ways you know how to use the same chord. You know, so you have the different ways you can use that same chord. I get a little crazy here. or that's the same chord as this one. Yeah, so kind of F major. All right, so let's see. I guess I did all 3 of those. Okay, so I think the thing I'll do next, let's see. So let me just do some octaves. Those are always fun. So I didn't do the up and down on one string like I did in the previous one, but I'll just do octaves here. So octaves, if you practice your scales up and down on single strings, that'll help you to find your octaves. So I'm going to start here: A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G, A, and I'll go one more, B. Backwards, B. Okay, now I guess I'll just do this one here. So I'm throwing in that low E just to kind of hear, so you can kind of hear, you're hearing it more as a E Dorian as opposed to, say, a D major because of the root. So E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D, E. I'll go a little bit more. G sharp, A. Backwards. Okay, so I'll talk a little bit about these tetrachords. So I find the tetrachords really useful to just kind of create kind of phrases that seem like they go together. So the first tetrachord, E, F sharp, G, A. Okay, and then the second one, B, C sharp, D, E. They kind of sound, if you do like a phrase in one tetrachord and then a phrase in another, they almost sound like they answer each other. So let me see if I can. See if there's anything else I want to do. So I did a Ted Green lick. So I think I might try to wrap this up now. So I think what I'll do now, I usually like to challenge myself in these videos rather than having everything totally planned out. I have a sort of a basic sketch. I just like to kind of take off the safety valve and just kind of see what happens. So I'm just going to kind of improvise over this kind of A Dorian using some of these different concepts and just kind of see what happens. Okay.